Welcome, 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 everyone. Thanks for being here. All right. So, because we have a nice little group here instead of 20, it'll be great. I love it. So, you are actually, what I'm going to go through is kind of how I create video, how I create long form content, turn into short form content. And the ability to do that is extremely easy. And you are now part of my process by being here. So, I do want to ask you, and I see Zach, you're nodding your head, and everybody's muted here, but I don't see Amy and Shannon on video. That's okay. I just want to ask you three because like I said, we've got a nice little small group here. I just want to have some interaction from you, figure out how are you guys using video right now in your business, and like what strategies are you using, and is there any questions that you have around what you're already doing? So Zach, I see you are first. I'll go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you can take it away.
All right, thank you. Clearly, I've got a halfway decent video set up. So my main strategy is to use OBS for my primary recording source, and I can do a lot of customizations through that. That also gives me the ability to live stream content, so we could do like a podcast interview type scenario, and again, repurpose that back into short form content, blog posts, that sort of thing. But I'm always willing to learn. So here I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, OBS, I've used it in the past, and it was for one time there, or at one time, it was kind of the only platform, right? And it was the only
Yeah.
ability to even get that live stream aspect of recording video. Otherwise, you're just talking to yourself and not being able to get out there and have cool stuff going on. So that's
Right.
actually where I started too. And I see a few videos kind of pop up through my timeline. I'm like, OBS, I use that. Like everything's super simple and boxy, and all the fun stuff was not as cool looking. But yeah, that's a big one that I've used in the past. When you're repurposing, how are you repurposing? What are you using?
Um, so basically, I have my own editing stuff. I've got DaVinci Resolve. I've got my good camera. I've got several drones. So I can go take all of that content, go into DaVinci Resolve, and package it however I want to. So I can do long form horizontal, short form vertical. I don't know if you're familiar that OBS now allows you to stream vertical as well. So it's like so much functionality. For me, it was so much more about the ability to create content, but collapse my time in order to create good content.
Yep.
I don't want to go spend the next month trying to film a single video. If I can provide, for lack of a better term, my own stock footage and sit on the computer and riff for 15 minutes, that's a lot better than, breaking out the camera, putting it on the tripod, finding a good location, and just sit here and do it all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I've created as well, and that's the easiest way to do it over the course of time frame. Obviously, we use just a lot of jargon there with the
Yeah, sorry,
levels of
guys.
everything. No, I did too, so don't worry. And I'm that's the concept of this whole thing is to kind of like we'll break down what you just said and make it digestible. Because when you're looking at it like you've never done it before, turns into
It's a
this
big
like,
hurdle.
oh shit, what did he just say? Because I don't know, and then you shut off. So like I get it. So.
Yeah, no, it really is a big tech hurdle and learning curve. I didn't just pop up here 2 days ago and say, hey, this is how I'm going to do things. It's been a couple of years of beating my head up against a wall trying to find the right way to do this that works correctly for me. But that doesn't mean that people can't just break out their cell phone and do it too.
Yeah.
I actually, as we were getting on this call, I got a spam call on my cell phone. So that I hate using my cell phone to do anything.
Yeah,
Invariably, somebody's going to call you.
I was airplane mode it and literally just turn it off for 10 minutes and just record my video that way. But yeah, so thank you for your input there, Amy, Shannon. If you're willing to jump on, I'm more than happy to take yours as well. There's Shannon, so I'll swap her in here.
I am driving.
No problem. I just
Meant to
want
be
to know,
all
like,
multitask.
how are you using video in your business? Or are you here to learn how to use video in your business? Where are you at?
So I use a lot. I do short form pretty well. I do like how to's, quick videos, a lot of stuff like that. I want to start doing long form, and I feel like I'm just stuck in this little hurdle of how do I actually complete doing long form and adding it to stuff because I am just using my phone. I don't have any of the software. I use CapCut to edit everything already. I'm pretty proficient in that now, but it's just getting over the hurdle to do the long form and actually do it. like I want to do it. I do seminars where it's in long form. I want to use that and chop that up to use it in to use it as short form too. So
Awesome. Well, you're in the right place because that's exactly what I'm going to break down for you because that's how I utilize video to my best extent. And obviously, sometimes that may not work for others, but if that's what you're here to learn, you're in the right spot because we've got some tools I'll show you that are pretty affordable for what they do. And there's some good things in there as well. And if you understand CapCut, you're going to be able to run what I'm talking about because I also use CapCut. I actually use CapCut more for the long form stuff, or if I just record a short form video. I don't really use it to break down my content because for me, it's kind of clumsy that way. And I can use AI to find stuff way faster. And so that's what I'll show you here. So good. I appreciate that because that is a hurdle, right? Like you're trying to adjust and change into something else that you can produce one long form and chop it up and make a whole bunch of short form from it and maximize your time. And that's the cool thing.
yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amy, are you on? If not, it's okay. And I will move forward with what I've got, but she must be a listener today. That's okay. All right. So that's what you're here for. You're here to learn, not to teach, right? That's what it's about. So I'm gonna do some screen share stuff here, but kind of show you how I work through this stuff. So Zoom obviously is a very easy place. And it's a very easy place for everybody to start, right? So if you don't have more than 2 people, Zoom is great. If you're more than 2 people trying to get, 3 people on a Zoom or 3 people on a longer form content, you end up having to pay if you go over 40 minutes. So Zoom for me, this is a great concept for me. I obviously pay for it. I use it every day. Sometimes I will just use Zoom. The tough part with Zoom is it doesn't allow you customizable views of where you're at. So while you can throw up a background and make yourself look like you're in the Bahamas if you want to, you can't really adjust the width, like change the dimension. You can't do any of that. And I know Zach touched on that with OBS a little bit, doing the portrait mode stuff now and the vertical video. And the tool that I'm going to show you that I use basically exclusively outside of Zoom has that ability to kind of adjust and change and make it look fun and fancy. And there's a whole bunch of tools that you can use. And it's relatively inexpensive. And there's even a free version that if you're not a massive user of it, you can probably get away with the free version. So, and then where we're going to go from there. So we make the long form content, and then I really just upload it into this platform that I'm using, and I just kind of let it take over. And I adjust a little bit on the backside, but nothing extremely major. No problem, Amy. Like I said, it's no big deal. I kind of put everybody on the spot there, but she said she was on the phone with the client. So that's a good thing. That's what we want. We want you on the phone with clients. We don't want you, wasting your time or anything. So that's good. But if you do have some stuff you want to add, just let me know and I can pop you in and you can let us know how you're using video as well. So really the progression goes, let's record a long form video, kind of what we talked about. And then we're going to throw it into an editor, an AI editor, which does most of the work for me. So I'm not having to sit there and find the best clips or find different clips. Sometimes while I'm making it, I will make sure that I either write down a mark of around what time I want it, or I'll make a mental note or make a little note of like, man, I really want that for a short form. And I can go back and make the system create that one clip for me. But generally I'm allowing the system to just tell me what's going to be the most beneficial or the most viral ones, and they even give me a viral score on the backside of what I'm doing. So Amy, I see your comment there. You've only done a few videos, so we've kind of got the range. We've got basically professional Zach, we've got Shannon, and we've got Amy, and we've got like everybody in between. So it's great. We've got a nice little roundabout, and I think everybody will find value. And then the difficult part really for me has been the posting aspect and the time it takes to post. And for me, it's been a mental block for a long time of like, I didn't do anything with breaking down a lot of this content until this past weekend, where I had 8 podcast episodes of 45-minute episodes. And then I had 8 podcast episodes of 15 to 20 minute that I had created a mental hurdle for myself not to split up and not to break down, so that I didn't have to go in and actually post the content, because that's where it ends for me. Is just like, it is not enjoyable for me to sit down, listen to each one, create a caption, all of that stuff. And so if you have solutions for that, I'm all ears on it. The tough part that I've found is it's really difficult to find a solution because that's what takes the personality out of it, right? Like when you're posting it, you also want to add your input in the captions. So utilizing Buffer has been an okay tool for me there because it allows me to schedule out and really kind of look at everything in a calendar format. So I'm able to kind of see when things are posted and when they're going to be posted and really break it out. And it allows you three free channels, but if you're using the free version, you can only schedule out up to 10 posts on each one. For most people, that's okay. But and then really, if you sign up for their quote unquote pro plan in between, it's like $5 or $6 a month per channel. So for me right now, I think it's $18 a month for that. So those are really my 3 steps. So I'll show you step 1 you're looking at right now. We're doing it live. We're creating this content. And when this ends, I'll download the content and I'll save it. And then I will upload it into this program that I'm using called Vidyo. So this is an AI editor, and I think you all can now see my screen on Vidyo here. So they just upgraded, which is cool that I'm doing this video now after they upgraded, because the video I did on this 3 weeks ago, it didn't look like this platform. It didn't have this visual. So it's a great product that I found works really, really well. So it's super simple. When you see the free version, you can see it down here. I've got the Pro Plus version, which gives me, I bought it on special, so it gave me 7,000 minutes for the year. That's a lot of freaking video. Like that's a lot of video because I do a lot of video and that's as far as I've gotten in 3 months of having the Pro Plus plan is 1,200 minutes of use. So ideally 6,000 minutes is more than enough. And that's, like I said, at one point, I think I've got 21 episodes in here of One Man's Journey, and of Reconnect, I think I've got 15. So that's 36 podcast episodes. That's the dent that has created for it. So not much. So the cool thing with that, it really is as simple as you click new project, you can drop files. So you drag and drop your files here, whether you're doing it locally, if you've got them saved on Box or Dropbox, you can pull them in from there. The YouTube link thing is hit or miss, depends on how well the video uploaded to YouTube and what you've done as a finisher on YouTube, if you have them there. You know, so if you've got the captions already on there, which most people are doing when you're posting the videos on YouTube, this one sucks for that because it's going to pull those captions in as part of the video, and then it creates, now you've got double captions and it kind of creates some weirdness. So all I'm doing here is uploading actually the raw video that I'm able to create. So I'll download it and I'll upload it directly to there. I am going to pull in one file. Let me see which one I can pull in here. I'm going to pull in one file just to show you what the process of pulling the files in looks like. And I'm playing around with Zoom's title screens here. So give me a second. Let's go to, and this is one I actually just did about an hour ago. So I actually have to upload it anyway. So it's as simple as drag and drop, just like that. And then it comes to this screen. And this is the cool part where, you know, basically caption language is going to ask you, it says English, you know, obviously that's going to be the majority of us. It was a great tool while they had it, but it was very glitchy. So if you have a section of time in your video, like if you have like a 5-minute section, like this one, I was on live 5 minutes before and it was recording for 5 minutes. I don't want to submit that as minutes. So it was allowing us to kind of minimize the segment that it would chop from. So you wouldn't have to pay for the extra minutes on the end and the beginning. But this allows you kind of content type. So really this was a podcast. We did, I'm calling everything a Zoom recording that I'm doing in this platform just because that allows it to understand that. And then I do multicam as well because there's 2 people. And then you number of speakers, you say 2, and obviously you can go more than 5, whatever. And then you just click. And if you want to, you can type in keywords. Like if you these are the things that I remember, like I was telling you, I was writing down little notes. If those are important to you, you can type the keywords in there and it will actually go into the video, find those keywords, pull them out, create clips around that keyword. Or the AI will actually analyze what word you type in there and go in and go, okay, what fits to that as a topic? So you're able to create kind of topics that you want shorts created out of. So you click generate clips. Now this will take a while to upload. And so I'm actually going to probably bail on it here just to show you the next step. So really you do not want to change the browser or refresh the page, because if you do, it will completely just shut it off and then you'll have to start the process of uploading it over again. So just know that. But I'm going to go ahead and skip it because it's not that big of a deal anyway. I just started it. So this is one that we did the other day, and I haven't even downloaded these yet. This is from last week. So you can see the quality here of what it's actually doing. Like it's pulling in individual things. It's giving scores of 82. And so this is a 54-second clip. Let me pull, here's a 30-second clip. And let me know if you guys can't hear it. So, appreciate you being vulnerable. So now I'm paying attention to this. So obviously that's my voice with his face, right? So all we have to do is click edit and it pulls us into the editor. And you can see this big box is actually the video screen. So now I'm able to play, resize my face however I want. The caps are here. Click play. So it's creating the short form content for us. So now you see, okay, well now both of us are talking in the video. How do I go back and forth between that? So you're able to click this little button here and it shows you, do you want a square video of one person? Or we can go 9:16 split. Now both of our faces are there. I can still play around, change the size of my face to fit the box properly. And obviously I've got a title there. I don't really want that in the video. So I'm going to just make him a little bit bigger. He's a big dude anyway. Make him a little bigger. So now the title is out of the screen. So now I've got a product here. And now you can see both of us talking back and forth with the captions in the middle. So that's a really easy way to create that. You can see the progress bar up here. There's different functionality with that. So we can click on the options down the side. We go to templates. My podcast really kind of has a dark feel to it. That One Man's Journey kind of has that like gritty feel to it. So this blue and red fancy fun doesn't make sense. Kind of like this template, it wouldn't make sense for the tone of the podcast. So I generally end up flipping into one of these templates where it just eliminates the colors and the fancy crap. And it allows us just to be raw and real and just faces. And you've got the captions in the middle. So you can see that progress bar there. That's an editing piece over here. So if we go to elements, shows you the progress bar. So if I wanted to change the color of the progress bar to dark green or brown or whatever, I'm able to do that within the color of the brand kit. So it even allows you to create your own brand kit, which makes things editing a lot easier on that side. So logos, you can pull in your logos. If you've got a little outro video or whatever, you can pull that in and add that to however many videos, if you're doing this, you just add it to the end. Over here, they have something called Cut Magic. So I haven't played around with this a lot. And I think moving forward into these videos, I'm probably going to try to do it. Where it disables aspect ratio changes, but it allows you to have, so this is where I'm trying to figure out how it's going to flow and what it's going to actually do. If it's going to kick us back and forth, I'm not sure. It's something I haven't explored, but it's a really cool tool if it works the way that they're saying it's working. So that's the cool thing with video. I've got a system that works really quickly and cleanly for me. So I just stick to that system instead of necessarily diving into something that's going to make this so much more cumbersome and difficult for me to learn. I just stick to the stuff that works. And so I bet this is what it's going to do is flip us back and forth with whoever's talking. Let me see. Nope, didn't do any of that, but it made it cool. So it made the captions a little bit cooler and kind of spruced it up a little bit to pull in some of that extra stuff. So that's something that can work there as well. And then, you've got different media files if you want to throw in images. You can use this as your editor if you wanted to have and then they've got pixels built right in, so that's all free extra media if you wanted to do it. I just don't do any of that stuff. Like I said, for me, it's not necessarily about making this overhyped, over edited product. For me, it's the information, I know the information's good, so I need to continue to get more of that information out. And so when you know that the type of content you're making is good, you just put more of it out instead of trying to be fancy and you get overwhelmed. Like I said, with the posting thing, I'm not joking. I had recorded a podcast with a best-selling author that sold over 1 million books, and I didn't get the podcast out. I recorded it February 6th and I just posted it 2 days ago. The guy sold over 1 million books and he's sitting in the room with me, and I don't put that out for the world to see because I had this mental hurdle of like, I can't post, it's going to take me too long. So the more simple you can make this stuff, the better it is for you, because you're just going to get it out. You know, that, like I said, there's so many different options here that I haven't even played around with. I mean, you can generate your descriptions from here. This is literally something I haven't even done until just now. But what it's going to do is analyze your content, and now it creates a description. So now I don't even have to come up with the descriptions. I can just click that button and edit it. And that's actually not a bad description. And it shows the little fancy, the stuff I would never do because it takes me too long. So that's a cool way of doing it. And then while I was explaining all this, I recognized that I had skipped my entry point besides Zoom. So I'm going to take you to Streamyard, which is a product that this is where I actually record the long form content on most of my podcasting stuff. Like I said, I use Zoom if I need to, and this one is really like I get to create some kind of a little bit of a fancier product. So this allows you to, we'll start at the homepage. I do have a slightly upgraded version. I think it's like $500 for the year. So, you know, $30 a month maybe. But it allows you to create destinations so you can actually connect, and Facebook will be taking some of this stuff away because it does go to groups, but you can actually connect your different profiles to it and go live directly to it. Today, I went live with the podcast we did earlier, and I went on my personal profile. I went live to my YouTube channel, and I also went live in a Facebook group. So I was on 3 different locations going live all at the same time. So now I'm pulling in more of the audience and giving more people access to the content instead of going live in one place, downloading it, posting it to another. This just allows all of that. The free version I know only allows 3, but with the paid version, I think it's unlimited however many places you want to go live to. So if you have an Instagram business account, you can add that. And then you can go live to your Facebook and I don't even know. Let me see if it's got TikTok. So there's the options that you can go live to. And so if you wanted to, you know, if you're a super user, you could go to custom RTMP and really like go live on your own website if you wanted to and create that for you. So there's really cool stuff there. And then repurpose, this actually has something in the background that allows you to edit it as well. I have not explored this at all, and I'm paying for it and I know it, and I just haven't. Again, it's one of those things like what works. So just stick with it. So eventually I'll dive into that too and see what that looks like. And then members, if you've got a team account, you can actually add people to the account to make it available for them to log in with you, and they can help you run your stream. If you're getting to a point of like, I don't want to play around with it and you want the cool stuff to come in at certain times, you can have a manager of the account to operate the account for you. So under the library saves, so I get 50 hours of recording time frame in the storage that they have built in. Eventually, I'll just go in and delete them to clear out the recordings because I've saved them all for myself. But if you create a setup, like I said, you can go live, you can just record, and then there's even the webinar function. There's actually one live right now with another loan officer who's doing it for the first time on on Streamyard for himself, I think. So I'll have to ask him afterwards how that looks. But really, you know, I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to do it, and it would be like live, but you're bringing people into your own environment instead of having it hosted on a website or a platform specifically. So we'll just do recording so I don't have to play around with the live stuff. We can just type in test. So this button is actually really cool. It allows you to record locally. So I'm in Puerto Rico right now. I've had so many freaking Wi-Fi issues today where it'll just like be perfect for 15 minutes and then it just cuts off. And so what that does with the recording local, it actually allows their camera to record them locally and save it locally, and then it will upload it to the cloud for you afterwards. So you've got access to their webcam recording just their face. So it allows you to create some of that short form stuff specifically for whoever you're working with on the backside. And it's something that's really cool, and I've used it on every single one that I've recorded now. So we can go audio and video. It may tap me out because it doesn't like that I'm using my camera somewhere else, but we'll see if it'll allow me to enter here. Yeah, so it won't. There, okay. So I had to clear my cache too, so some of this stuff would already be there, but display is there. We can enter without the mic and cam. So this is what it looks like. So what I'm gonna do is I want you to see how easy it is for somebody else to get in, but I don't necessarily have somebody else lined up. But really it's as easy as I click invite, I copy this link and I can send it to anybody. And all they do is click the link and they're in the studio with you. So they would be right here next to you. Right now, I'm not added to the screen. And obviously with the video issue, I'm on Zoom, it won't let me use both. All you do is click add to stream and your face pops up in the middle. And if you've got more than one person or you're sharing your screen, there's different functionalities here of how it can look different. So this is what I mean by the difference between Zoom. Like Zoom, you have one look. You have one way that Zoom makes you look. You get the full widescreen camera so you can see everything behind me. When I'm in here and I'm doing my podcast, I'm using this cropped layout. So all I do is I pivot here so you can kind of visualize it in my video. And I know that I'm kind of small here, but all you're getting is like shoulder to shoulder. So everything outside, my curtains don't show up in the back of my podcast. My chair over here doesn't show up in the back of my podcast. It's focused purely on this space. So it allows me to crop that without having to deal with all the extra space later. Or you can, you got multi different layouts and stuff like that. It's extremely functional. It allows you to have comments coming in directly from where you're streaming live to. Facebook doesn't allow you to post comments back, but when comments come in, you're able to pop them up on the screen. So it actually shows you like a little bubble of like who said it and where it came from, and like it shows you literally like what they said. So then you can comment on it on the screen if you're live. Banners are pretty cool. This is something if you wanted something running across the bottom of your screen, it just shows that. It's just like an ESPN ticker on the bottom of the screen. So when you're live or even in a recorded video, you'd be able to put that up so that you could say something once, pop that up, and now it's repeating for the rest of the video. Or if you set it up beforehand, I've got all of these different ones. Now I can say that one at the beginning. And then I'm talking about goals. So I want to say, how do you select your goals? Like now it's prompting your audience to comment for you without you having to say, this is what I want you to comment on. Just shows you how do you select your goals. So that's one of the functionalities that's really cool with this one. The brand piece, you can do as much work or as little work in here as you want. It allows you to choose brand colors. You can upload your logos, which puts it in the top of the screen. I don't want that one because I don't work there anymore. Top of the screen here. It allows you to put that in there. So it's like an overlay over the video. And then they actually have overlays, which is a functionality. See how much bigger that is. So this takes an extra step. You have to go to Canva and create it. They don't allow, like they don't just teach you how to create overlays. You have to upload an actual file. But all I did in Canva was pop my logo in one corner, pop live in the other corner, and then export without a background. And so now you've got this overlay that you can put in, and that's how easy it is. And you can get those created actually really affordably too. If you like, go on Fiverr and they'll create them for you for a couple bucks if you don't have the functionality to do so. And then video clips. This is actually my favorite functionality of the whole thing. So I went live and did similar to what I'm doing right here. And what it allowed me to do, because I couldn't show the inside of Streamyard while I'm using Streamyard, right? I can't show you how to go through that process I just explained to you. I went through before I went live, and I created a 6-minute video that walked you through step by step of what I just showed you here. And then I was able to just pop it up. I'm live on Facebook showing you a recorded video that breaks down everything I want it to. And then when the video ends, it comes off the screen and there's Ryan and he's actually live, but I'm still able to interact with you because I can comment and all of that stuff. But you're able to pop up a video and just let the video play. So if you wanted to, I wouldn't recommend this because of the interaction piece, but however you want to do it, if you're afraid of being live on camera and getting stumbled up, record the video, upload it, go live, post the recorded video. So it gives you that entry point, like get on video, like you can do the editing thing if you need to, if you're afraid of screwing up, like whatever it is, like whatever your mental hurdle is, there's a fix for it. And if I'm saying one thing for you to remember throughout this entire thing, for you to get on video, like ask the mental hurdles that you have, because I guarantee you I figured out a solution for it. Because I've been doing this for 7 years now. Like I've been recording video for 7 years. And, you know, Zach, I know you mentioned that you've got the camera, the side camera piece there. I'm literally just using the camera on my computer. I'm not even using any like upper technology for that. And I've got this microphone that cost me, you know, $100 5 years ago and still works perfectly for that, the Yeti microphone. And so, I mean, there's setups that cost $15,000 and there's setups that cost $25 because they bought a microphone. Like this little guy, I'm sure you're seeing if you're on TikTok at all. Like I have a dual one, so I can actually, like I bought it for $25 and I get 2 microphones. So I've got 2 of these. So if I want, and I want to do an interview type video, I give one to Zach, I have one, and then this plugs into the bottom of my phone. And now I have personalized microphone while I'm mobile with one of the highest definition cameras that you're going to find anywhere anyway. Like you don't have to have all the extra stuff. This just makes the editing part easier on the backside. And then a couple of the options that I don't really use or anything is like background music, but this is royalty free stuff. So if you're live and you wanted to play some background music, you could do that. So, you know, like I've got this little loop here with the stream starting. So I just click the loop button and I just let it roll. So if I wanted to, I could go and add a little acoustic music in the background while that's playing if I wanted to. Or I could be feeding the ducks. Like there's just different little things. So this is why I really like StreamYard. It just allows so much more functionality to make it look more polished without you even really understanding why it looks that way. Like it's literally taking a professional broadcast and putting it in your hands, and you just do a little bit at a time and you just figure out each individual thing a little bit at a time so that you don't have to, you know, eat the whole elephant. So StreamYard using Vidyo I'm using, and then I can show you the inside of Buffer here. I'm not logged in because I had to clear the cache, so give me a second on that one. And I may not even have this, but let's give it a shot. So let me do, that's not gonna work, but Buffer's super easy. There's also a phone app, and really it's just like, literally it shows up, you click the plus sign, you drag and drop your video, you add the caption, and then it allows you to schedule it out. So the tough part with that is I know that most of us, you guys found me on Facebook. Most of us are utilizing Facebook as kind of a big piece of it. You can't schedule directly to your personal page, which is a difficult piece of a lot of that stuff. It could go to your business page, but nobody looks at that anyway. And that's a difficult part of that. But I got it scheduled to YouTube to start. And then I'm going to give you the real key of how I've developed my lazy way of posting here. Let me make sure I can log in, because obviously they've cleared all my passwords from everywhere. Perfect, it let me log in. So we'll go share. So this is called repurpose.io. And this is literally saves me 20 minutes a day. And it's $24 a month or something like that, $260 a year or something like that. Like it's insane. So this app allows for a lot of different things. And again, one of those things I'm not utilizing to its full potential because I figured out what works for me and what I enjoy and why I enjoy it. And that's why, and that's how I use it. So I was, up until recently, utilizing TikTok as my starting point. So I found that my entry point into editing those videos with the jump cuts and being able to eliminate, you know, like where you're eliminating the space between your sentences and that kind of thing, I found the easiest app to edit that on was TikTok. They were forward thinking. They were all about the creator. I've evolved a little bit past that. And now I use CapCut outside of it because they're tied to TikTok as well. But I use CapCut for those type of videos because CapCut has a functionality which is insane. And if you're using the pro version, like $7 a month. If you're using the pro version, one of the functionalities it has is you can actually edit by the transcript of your video. So you can go in, like it gives you a whole transcript, and you can just delete words, and it deletes that section of the video as well. Which is it from going on TikTok where I had to like find the exact end of my sentence and finding the exact beginning and then deleting that little clip. It saved me, you know, a bunch of time on those videos. I could literally create a minute-long jump cut video in 5 minutes, and 2 minutes of it was recording it. So it made it that much easier. So while I have that now, when I do it in CapCut, then it exports to my phone. So now I've got this raw video on my phone. I don't have to go directly through TikTok. So I flipped it, and now I'm starting in YouTube. So I'll show you kind of my, you know, workflow that works for me. But you can see I've got 3 different YouTubes because I've got one for each podcast and then one for my mortgage business as well. And so this starts at whichever one I'm posting to. So I'm scheduling on Buffer the shorts to go directly to YouTube as a short, and then repurpose takes over. So once that video is posted on YouTube, it now gets posted to LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, my Facebook business page, and Pinterest. And Pinterest and Snapchat, I don't monitor at all, but it's another thing that pops up when you search Kick Butt Mortgage Guy. Because my Pinterest one, I've been doing this for 2 years. So I've got 3,000 videos on Pinterest, and I don't go on Pinterest at all. Like I don't log into it at all. But what this does, and it's funny because, you know, I just told you I switched from having TikTok as my starting point to having YouTube as my starting point. I tried to do like, oh, I really want the videos that, because sometimes you get those on this day videos on TikTok that allow you to just click it and you can kind of post it really, really quickly. So it's super easy content that you've already used and you just repost it kind of thing. So I was like, I really want that content to go back to YouTube as like another form of content for me on YouTube. So I turned this one on. 2 nights ago, I created an endless loop of content. And so it literally was just posting to YouTube and then reposting to all those apps. And it did it 6 rotations before I caught it. So on all of my platforms, I have the same video posted 6 times in a row over the course of 10 hours. And luckily the app is smart enough to space the videos out where it wasn't like I posted 6 all at once, but it was pretty rough. So I had to go and I just picked and chose like, okay, that one got 0 views, hide it. That one got 0 views, hide it. And whatever ones had views, I just left them. But I had created in this endless loop of content that, you know, kind of sucked to clean up. But yeah, it's a super easy platform to use. You just create your connection here. And so I'm logged in on all of these apps, you know, and you can see I've got 3 different TikToks, 3 different YouTubes there. Snapchat, everything funnels to one. Pinterest, LinkedIn, everything kind of just funnels to one there just to have content there. So I've been asked quite a bit, like, how are you everywhere? This is how I'm everywhere, because I don't have to spend the time either A, in a scheduling app, or B, going directly to the platform. I don't have to spend all that time to go post in those places. It just allows me the more time freedom of, okay, I'll post it to YouTube. It'll post to pretty much all of the ones I want. And then I also have obviously Facebook and Instagram linked. So I will take that video that I have, I'll post it to Facebook and it'll auto post it to Instagram. So now I'm literally in all the platforms because everything allows this, and obviously except Facebook on your personal page. And that's why I do it, because I'd much rather be on my personal page that way. So that's really like my entire process. Yeah, I see your hand, Shannon. You're definitely taking questions right after this. So, but that's really like my entire process from beginning to end is Streamyard to Vidyo to using repurpose to post it all with buffer in between. So any questions for me? Let me stop sharing quick. I know there's a lot of information there, and I'm sure it even felt complicated that way. But one of the things that I recommend with it is just like, if you want access to these, I'd also have some links on each one of those. So it just, you know, let me know and I can send you the links on each one. Just go one by one and go, okay, like I started with repurpose because it was cheap and it allowed me to post everywhere. So now I only have to do the work of posting in 1 or 2 places. Okay, so I start there. Now I'm everywhere. And then you start to dive into that app and you figure that app out. Well, you know, especially with you, Shannon, you said you're making short form. Now you can get that short form all over the place. And it helps you build a YouTube channel without, like, I think I'm at almost 2,000 videos on my YouTube channel now because I've done this for that long. Like, I was posting that much content on TikTok. I was like, I don't want to lose, like, I don't want to have to go in and individually download every single one of these to repost it, and repurpose was the way for me to do that. But the other two do have free options for you to utilize. Actually, the other three with buffer included all have free options that can work for, you know, smaller amounts of content. So Shannon, I know you had a question, so we'll go ahead and ask you to unmute. And
I was going to ask you your process. So you schedule it through buffer to YouTube Shorts, and then that's connected to the repurpose IO to automatically post everywhere else once you put it in YouTube Shorts through buffer.
Yep. Yeah. So that is also why I switched to YouTube, was because buffer was easier to post to YouTube than it was to TikTok. And YouTube is the only one that has the cap on the title, because they have the title and they have the description, right? So they have the two separate ones. So YouTube caps it at 100 characters. So if I'm putting a thought process into a caption and I'm starting in TikTok and then it's going to YouTube, it's truncating that entire thing. And it ends up cutting out like right in the middle of a word and nothing makes sense. And so like literally 1,000 of my YouTube videos have a title that's 100 characters long that you would read and go, what the hell are you talking about? It makes no sense. So it allows you to, you can post that longer description on YouTube where you're actually putting the thought into the content there. And then that automatically will post as the description in all of the other ones. So you can pull it as a description instead of using that shortened title. It allows the functionality to be better that way.
Okay. Okay. So you start out with StreamYard to record the long form, then you chop it up in
so
there.
StreamYard, we're doing just like this, like on Zoom. And if you, again, if you have free version of Zoom, you can, I use Zoom. So again, I was talking about the wireless issues. StreamYard does use a little bit more bandwidth because it's got all that fun stuff going on. So if I'm having Wi-Fi issues, I just come in here and we just move to Zoom, and that's kind of my second option. So we just do it side to side like this, and that's what's spitting out those types of videos. And you know, when you upload it to Vidyo, it recognizes there's two videos there and it'll split them up for you.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that's, you know, and you were the one that I think this one made the most sense for, because that's the move you're trying to make, is to get into that long form piece. And really, like, for me as a concept of the whole thing, the podcast was really created so that I could have awesome conversations with awesome people. And that's literally what it was for. There was no, like, I still don't have a monetization agenda to it. It's just, I enjoy talking with people and having conversations that aren't, how's business? How's the weather? I don't go to coffee. Like, I make content. Like, we're doing something that's valuable to both of our businesses, that's going to help us grow and spread a word that makes way more sense versus, yeah, oh, snap a picture. We went to coffee today. Like, what value does that add to the world? So the podcast piece allows me to do that. And that's why I did it. That's what you, as a person who wants to get into long form, instead of putting all the pressure on yourself to come up with the content, call somebody and be like, hey, like, let's talk about something that, it can be business related. It can be mortgage, real estate, whatever you want to do. You can talk about the market, but then you've got somebody to bounce ideas off of, and you're not carrying the weight of the quote unquote long form content.
That's been my problem. That's been my huge problem. I can't think of enough topics to talk about for long form, and I feel like a moron. So
no,
I can do the short.
It's a learned skill to be able to develop that much content around one topic, and really, like, in a podcast style, you don't have to stick to one topic, and that's why the conversation, like, you're just having a conversation on screen, which is that was my easiest entry point to that. I've done it where we kind of talk about title for one topic and have a title agent on, or a credit repair person comes on and they're like, hey, here's tips and tricks that you can do really fast to get your credit score up within a certain time frame. Or, you know, as a real estate agent, you could pull in a mortgage person. I don't know any good ones or anything, but you could pull in a mortgage person and you could talk about different things. You know, really, for me, I've done them where, like, somebody worked with a lot of investors and wanted to do more DSCR content, which is debt service coverage ratio, their investor loans. They wanted to talk about that. So they brought me in, we talked about investor loans. I did the exact same process. Now they've got a bunch of short content they can put out about investor loans, plus this big sizable content that they can go, hey, we talk about investors and I know all about the loans. Or if I don't know it, I know a guy who does. So lean on other professionals, lean on other people that have expertise in different just, you know, niches that make sense for you to bring in, and then you don't have to carry the weight. It makes it a lot easier.
Where do you post your podcast stuff? On just YouTube
Everything is
or?
start on YouTube right now. I've got Spotify podcasts set up, and I'm working on syncing it to all of the other platforms, because podcasting is way farther ahead than video right now. It allows like you to upload the podcast to one place, and you just enter RSS feeds, and then they go everywhere. So I've got it based on Spotify, and I'm working on linking like iTunes and iHeart and all of the major ones. But it takes a little bit of time because you've got to verify certain stuff. So I can get you the links to the podcast, or in the group. I think I've probably posted them quite a few times, but I can definitely get you the links to them there. And then for being on here, my offer to you as we kind of wind down is to say, I'd love to have you on the Reconnect podcast. And so the premise behind the Reconnect podcast is really putting a focus. I'm gonna start this over because I want this for short form content afterwards. But so the premise of the Reconnect podcast is to really focus on you as a real estate agent. It's to focus on what you bring to the marketplace. And so I will, as a podcast host now that's got almost 50 episodes under my belt, I've gotten pretty good at the interviewing process and pulling some things out of you that you probably don't even know are there. And so we start with what your purpose is, and then we develop a concept of kind of drilling down past that initial, you know, I like to help people sell homes type thing. And we drill into really like why you do it and why your clients should work with you. And so what that allows you on the other side, because I'm doing the process I just showed you, I'm creating this short form content for you to post wherever you want. So now you've got reels about why you are in the business and why people should use you, that isn't talking about, oh, look at this great home, or, oh, let me help you find your house. So now you've got that depth content of content that you can utilize on all of your platforms. And so part of this is me just enjoying teaching the easy way to do things, or the easier way to do things. And part of it is I want to bring you into the podcast so that we can help promote you, and then obviously grow the reach of the podcast on the backside. So it's a win-win for everybody. So that's an offer for you guys being here. That's me offering that to you. So I appreciate that from you. And then if you've got any more questions for me, ask away. I can stay on for as long as I need to answer any questions. So Zach, what do you got? I see you, I saw you nodding throughout. I know you got something to say. Oh, you're muted. Hold on.
Unmute. Now, I think you did just absolutely outstanding. You hit a lot of the good points there. I loved that. Which one was it? Streamyard. That's like, it's everything in OBS, just easy.
Yeah, and that's
it's
why
like
I
hitting
moved
the
away from OBS. Yeah,
yeah, it's like hitting the easy button. That's glorious. So, but no, I love what you're doing, how and why, and I'm happy to be a part of it. But I have to 100% agree. Developing your own content can be really difficult. It is a brain drain. And even on, you know, like there are certain hot button topics that are up in the news, goes through the cycles. You might have something great to say about that, but it's a lot better to get somebody else on, and then you can riff off of each other. And I find that it's so much more natural, especially for long form content.
yeah, it makes
So
it a lot
I
easier,
dig it.
that back and forth thing, and you know, like I said,
Well,
it's improving
as human
reach
beings,
for
we're,
everybody.
yeah, as human beings, we're used to having a conversation. And now we're just using technology to do it at a distance from each other. But beyond that, like conversation's conversation, we're just happen to talk about work right now. And that makes it so much easier than racking your brain for, okay, I need a script, I need to talk about this thing. Nah, man, you know, what's your latest loan program you got coming out? People will just riff on that. They love it. And I'm the same way, you know, ask me about the latest news. I can talk for a while. So,
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic.
that's the, you know, I've got some other strategies about creating content ideas and stuff like that as well, that, you know, and really like, you know, Shannon, we talked about the pulling people in and having that conversation type piece. If you don't have the ability, or if you're in a situation where you're like, shit, I need content and I need to get, you know, 10 videos out. That's actually really easy because you can actually, there's websites out there that tell you what people are searching for. So then you have a conversation with yourself. But really, you're having a conversation with the people because those people are asking those questions of Google. And now you get to say, you write down your 10 favorite questions that you can answer. Don't pick one that you don't know shit about. Like pick one that you know everything about. And just like focus on that. And then so the way that I've done it in the past is, my goal is to film 10 questions. So I pick 10, I write them out, I put them on my computer screen so that I can look right at the question. I ask myself the question on video. I'm not going to put that part on my short form, but I ask the question on video so I know which question I'm actually answering. And then I answer the question as if someone asked it to me sitting across the table from me. And then I repeat that 9 more times. And then I upload it to Vidyo. And then I do the process we just did. So it literally is that, like, if we're breaking it down to its simplest piece, like ask yourself a question, answer the question, and you've got a video. And everybody kind of like, what do I want to talk about? You want to talk about what your clients want to talk about. It's not about what you bring to the table, like what matters to you. It's about what matters to them. So go straight to the source. That website is called Answer the Public. And they actually give you, I think, 3 searches a day or something for free, or 3 a week or something like that. But that's another free tool to utilize, answerthepublic.com. And they literally put up the top like 300 searches in a niche. So you just type in like mortgage broker and it'll spit out what those questions are. And so it's a super easy way to do it. So there's so many tools out there now that like content ideas should be the least of your worry. Like, with what we just went through, obviously you got a learning curve there, but the content ideas are very easy to come by if you're paying attention and utilizing the tools that are there. So awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody's input, and seriously, thanks for being here, and appreciate even jumping on, even though I might end up or had lost video or Wi-Fi there for a while, but it ended up working out and we got through, and it'll cut off like 3 seconds after I hit the stop button. So that's perfect. So appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, like I said, Amy said that, it's some of it's overhead or all of it's overhead. Like I can simplify down just that first step, and, I'm there for accountability if you need that too. So appreciate all of you. And I'll reach out with scheduling links. So if you're interested, you can schedule whatever time you need or you want for the podcast piece. So we'll get you some content. So thanks for being here.